What did I tell you guys? I've been warning everybody this whole time. Nobody's listening. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're so full of hatred towards human beings that you just don't see what's going on. Maybe you're just numb and in shock, and you can't believe that it's actually happening. But what happened in World War II at Auschwitz? Gas chambers. Jews were gassed. So what's going on in Tijuana? Babies are being gassed. Not with the same type of gas that Grandpa Bush, Preston Bush, bought and paid for and provided for the Auschwitz camp. But this was tear gas. Something that's banned worldwide. Because it can cause death. And that's one of the problems that we have in our judicial system. As we find out that those in the Mueller investigation are just outright lying to Mueller. You know, to them it's no big deal. They're just going to lie their way out of it. The Constitution was not written to allow a guilty person who's guilty of a criminal act, criminal violation of someone else's rights, to get away with their crimes. That's not the intention. And yet people think, oh, well, I got myself a good lawyer because I had the money to pay for it, or I'm protecting somebody big and powerful, so my lawyer is paid by them, and so I'm able to get away with it. The glove didn't fit, therefore they must acquit. That's not what the courts are about. The courts are for when someone's rights have been violated. They file a petition for a redress of grievances. First Amendment. Look it up. It's not just freedom of speech and religion. It's for people who have been victimized to be able to petition. And so, you know, if we're supposed to interpret the law to allow defendants to get away with criminal behavior, then there is no justice system. That's what I'm experiencing here in Utah. They alter the laws, or they make laws where there's a time limit, and so the government or those involved purposely delay so that the statute of limitations runs out. Oh, sorry, statutes of limitations run out. I can no longer be processed, even though I'm guilty of committing a crime against you. And like I said, making laws where a crime is not a crime. In my case, kidnapping is not kidnapping. My ex can get away with taking our kids away from me. That's the kidnapping part, by definition. But they've changed the laws to say, oh, well, there has to be parental custody. You were supposed to go to the courts and get custody. And because nobody told me, because I didn't know of the legal process, because I didn't have the money for a lawyer, because my family, church, and government were all against me, therefore I lose out. Sorry. And so that's what's going on here in the federal system with Mueller. People are trying to get away with crime, trying to say, hey, crime is not a crime, or I'm above the law, you can't touch me, or hey, well, Congress isn't doing anything about it, so I must not be guilty. I'll just continue to escalate what I'm doing. That's not how the Constitution was supposed to function. If Congress fails to do their job, and they have, blatantly, they then are accomplices. They aided and abetted, not just obstructed, but aided and abetted in the crime. So our whole Congress is also in violation of the law. And the liberal media keep wondering, have we reached the constitutional crisis yet? I don't think so. It still seems to be working. Children are being separated from parents, locked in cages, and now they're being gassed. What part of that is a constitution that is working? That doesn't sound like a constitution that works. When we allow this to happen to human beings, this isn't about citizens. Oh, well, they're not American, so we can do whatever we want. See, that's changing the whole theme of the Constitution, to violate the law. And that's a crime. We're supposed to be rescuing anyone in the world who is suffering by the hands of their government, not just waiting for them to reach America. We need to actively go out and save them and bring them to America and give them a good life. And those that try to tell you that they don't deserve it, they haven't worked for it, that's just the darkest of evil. Our government is over. It's ruined. Action needs to be done by we the people. And it's going to get ugly. Because what we have to do will be a crime in the eyes of the government. The Declaration of Independence says, and I'm not reading it, so I'm not quoting it, but go to my website, it's there. Because the way to solve our problems in government is not by using the system, because the system is already rigged against us. It's a dichotomy government party system. That's not a choice. But when a long train of abuses, I can't quote it, sorry. It's a cool line. Nicolas Cage does an excellent rendition of it in National Treasure. But it is our duty, it is our responsibility to throw off our government and establish better government for ourselves and our posterity. You can ignore me, you can hate me, you can want to kill me, as many have. Mostly it's due to my Mormon criticism. Because Mormons should know better. Mormons are all about the Constitution. They believe it's divinely inspired. But then they're clueless that we're not following it. And Mormons, even long before Trump, wanted to go to the border to protect against the immigrant invasion. Trump didn't start the immigrant invasion thing. It was had long before, during Bush. What's it gonna take, America? You're just gonna watch and sit back and let our nation go to pot? And not the kind that you get to smoke, because we'll be the ones smoked. I told you, I warned you, I warned my representatives here in Utah, both Mia Love and Orrin Hatch, that Trump was going to get worse. They refused to listen. That was last year when I started communicating with them. When Trump trashed Mia Love's ancestral home, I immediately responded to her, telling her to stand up to him and denounce him. And she caved, did nothing. So when she lost and said that she was going to wait until after Thanksgiving to make her announcement, I emailed her again, yet again, and said, I actively protested through my website, through social media, anywhere I could, so that you would not regain your post in Congress. She never represented me when I came to her for help. She did the opposite. Just as Orrin Hatch did the opposite. And they didn't stand up for Trump. Stand up against Trump, sorry. And so, yeah, I told Mia Love, good riddance. And with Hatch, I told him, shame on you. Shame on you for betraying our country. For betraying the memory of our founding fathers. Betraying the Constitution. And betraying Joseph Smith, too, because he's a Mormon. They're both Mormons. So yeah, Mormons. It's got to stop, people. Mueller's not going to stop it. He's taking his time. He's got evidence against Trump, and he's not doing anything about it. He knows Trump is illegitimate, which means everything Trump has done as president is illegitimate. Trump needs to be revoked from office, removed. We need a referendum for president. We need lots of congressmen removed from office, and a referendum for a new Congress positions. But none of that's going to happen. And I don't have faith in any of you to stand up and do something about it. When little children try to immigrate to our country, you're all up in arms about wanting to kill them. You know, I didn't grow up Christian. I grew up Mormon. But I know that Christians believe in the New Testament. You don't believe in the Bible, the Old Testament, which is weird. You believe the Ten Commandments, but yet you believe that all you need is faith, that you don't really need to follow the Ten Commandments. You guys are weird. but you elected Trump, and you still promote him as Christians. Non-Americans are not children of the devil. They're also children of God. Yet Christians, what's wrong with you? And Jews, they remain silent after all the abusive centuries that they've had to endure. And then, of course, they become victimized again with some wacko shooter at a baby brisk. And I don't hear Muslims speaking out. There are few that are running for Congress that won the congressional seat. But Muslims are staying silent also. And I suspect that's out of fear. Because if they speak out, they're worried that they can be punished. And we all will. If we all did what was necessary to remove the corruption from our government, we will be punished. We will have to sacrifice. There will be loss of life because our government is that evil. They don't care about us. I was watching a movie about cloning the other day, and it hit me. That may explain why those of the elite are allowing our resources to be depleted. Because they have the seeds in storage. They have DNA technology now. So they can resurrect everything that they will cause to go extinct, which will kill the human population off. Oh, and then magically, oh, we figured out how to regain our supply of wheat. We're all saved. We did it. Give us the honor. Even though we were the ones that took it away from you and caused you to die. They cause the problems and then expect to be rewarded as heroes when they fix the problem they caused. It's got to stop, people. Our government won't do it. Congress won't do it when they're in session on January 3rd. The House isn't going to do it. They can do all the investigating they want. They can do all the exposing they want. Oh, Trump's taxes. Oh, Trump's criminal involvement with Russia. Oh, this with prostitutes and extra children through illegitimate relationships. It won't matter. Because the Senate indicts and removes the president. And the Senate didn't get overrun by Democrats. Not that I trust Democrats to do anything. Because the investigations are going to take years. They're not going to be resolved anytime soon. So we're going to have more and more years of Trump escalating things. He's purposely doing it to cause us to fight and riot, to want our rights. And when we demand our rights, guess what? He'll then accuse us of being the criminals. And he will sick the police force, the military, all the forces of the government after us. But are you going to sit back and take it? Or are you going to stand up and fight? I'm already a political prisoner here in Utah. I'm not in a cell in jail or in prison or in an insane asylum. They've got other ways to violate our rights, to keep us controlled as they think. So, what's it going to take? When is enough enough for you? Because you weren't gassed at the border, but are you going to sit back and be complacent and allow it to occur? Were you one of those who just let the children be separated from their parents at the border happen? It's still going on. Are you doing anything? I'm speaking out. I'm trying to provide a new way. But what are you doing? Because I can't do it alone. I mean, it would make a great picture, me standing at the gates of the Washington, D.C. in protest. Maybe I'll make Time magazine's cover. But that doesn't do anything. All the protesting that has been done has done nothing. Because protesting doesn't cause change. The protests down in Florida about the school shooting, the government came back and punished Floridians. It was an under 18-year-old kid who went on the school shooting. Under 18. You couldn't get a weapon until you were 18. So what did Florida do to solve the kid's problems? They gave him the finger and said, okay, it's now 21 when you can buy a gun. The age of an adult is 18. That's a direct violation of our constitutional rights there in Florida. In case you guys ever read your Constitution, you were too busy protesting your emotions that you forgot about rights. We are in a civil war. We're already under attack by our own government. When are you going to wake up and see it? They've already violated our rights. They're already denying us a petition for a redress of grievances. They're denying us protesting for being denied our rights. We're no longer on the UN's Human Rights Council. Remember? We were putting babies in cages. The UN said, no, you are now human rights violators, America. And then Nikki Haley, okay, we're out. We're not a part of your council anymore. That's who we are as a people, as a nation, in the eyes of the world. We are human rights violators. We are worse than Nazis. When are you going to stand up and fight for America? When are you going to stand up and fight for your rights? Quit being an embarrassment on our posterity.